Welcome to All Creatives Now, a brand new one-stop creativity spot where you can find all the information and resources you need to unleash your creative potential.
Looking at the growth in the creator economy and facilitating conversations amongst creatives about what it is to be a creator in the modern world.
Join me, Paul Stevenson,
And me, Kev Harrison,
as we interview creatives from a range of disciplines about their journeys, their passions, their struggles, and what it means to them to be a creative in the modern world. There has quite literally never been a better time to be a creative.
Get your work out there into the world.
Welcome to All Creatives Now with me, Paul Stevenson, and as always, my co-host Kev Harrison. Kev, how are you doing today?
Hi there, how you doing? Yeah, I'm pretty good, thanks. What about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. The sun is shining. It's as we record this, it's going to be Glastonbury this weekend, so I plan on spending the whole weekend watching bands and moaning about the state of music, which is my favourite pastime. So yeah, looking forward to
I'm
that.
going to go and run 15 kilometres at night on Saturday on a peninsula about an hour north of here, which is slightly insane, but I'm going to enjoy it. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, that sounds like the sort of thing that I wouldn't do if you put sacks of money in front of me and said, if you do this, you get this. I'd just say, no, I don't. That's just not me.
all I get is some sardines, but still worth it.
That's even more punishment. That's just like punishment on top of punishment. That's like saying you've just walked through a lake of lava. Congratulations, here's some shit. So I don't. Yeah.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Who are we talking about today? Who are we talking about?
Today we have got one of the funniest people on the entire planet, and I don't think that's massive amount of exaggeration to say that. He is an award-winning comedian, compere, podcaster, and one-time Tandy advert extraordinaire person. So his name is Michael Legge, and he is just an amazing stand-up, and wanted to get him on because when you think of creativity, you kind of think of your artists, your writers, maybe your musicians, but stand-up is kind of such at the cutting edge of writing and comedy, so we really wanted to get a stand-up on, and who better than Mr. Michael Legge.
Yeah, the only downside was that when I was trying to ask questions, most of the time I was having to stop myself from cry laughing in order to get the question out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's it's a very fun interview, this, and there's some little bits of wisdom sprinkled in there as well, but mainly laughs, really. And that's no bad thing. I think we can all do that from time to time. Yeah. So it's a pretty long one again, so we'll jump straight into it. But without further ado, Mr. Michael Legge.
Let's get to it.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of All Creatives Now. Today, we are joined by comedian, writer, Tandy advert extraordinaire, actor.
Yeah.
That's it. Yes. And podcaster Michael Legge. So, Michael, thank you very much for joining us.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's an absolute pleasure to join you. We should have been recording over half an hour ago, but I own a PC, and switching a PC on takes 45 minutes, and that's why she left you, Bill, because you take too fucking long to start, mate.
Not according to the press reports. They're saying he was managing to find some little bit on the side there. So which
he had an add-on.
Surprises me. It's an add-on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It surprises me that these billionaires are so able to find readily available people to sleep with them. There must be something about them.
Yeah. Well, he's pretty hot. He's got those glasses. You've got glasses.
Where's knitwear? Yeah.
Where's
knitwear?
Knitwear is
very
cuddly.
Well, yeah.
Cuddly guy.
Yeah, exactly. So, as I say, thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, we want to talk to you a little bit about your glittering career in show business. Which is going to be
Is that like a telling off?
Obviously,
talking about like we want to talk to you about your career.
Yes,
and we want you to fucking stop.
Yes, we're all your friends, Michael. Yeah, we're here to make an intervention. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Why don't we kick off with the sort of the whole superhero origin thing of like, where did your road to comedy start?
I'm pretty certain it started with being the youngest of 5 kids growing up with. You have to understand, in Northern Ireland, if you don't have 5 kids by the time you're 28, something's terribly wrong. So, my 28-year-old parents had 5 kids, and I think, a lot of people would argue that, hey, listen, if you're going to have kids, you better be a good parent. I think that's a fair argument. But I also think there's another argument that says, well, if you've got 5 kids, I think you're allowed to slack off with the last one and go, do you know what? Fuck it. Put the TV on
We,
and
you've got
just pop him in front
four.
of it. I can't. I'm too knackered. I'm 28 and yet I'm 70 inside. So my parents, what they did was they plunked me in front of the TV. Which is why I don't have a very strong Northern Irish accent. And I used to joke about that, but I've actually now convinced myself that that is the case. That my my dad would always say, you're so strange because the rest of us, the whole family have strong Northern Irish accent, and you never had one. I'm like, that's because I have my real father's accent. I have Brian Cant's accent. So I was raised listening to my real parents. Brian and Fluella, and I've got their accents. So I'm pretty sure that's where my interest in comedy started. Is just watching TV. It's been I'm being sort of left to my own devices to watch TV. I never had a bedtime growing up. No, all my other siblings did. I never had one. They just couldn't. They just went, it's too fucking exhausting to do this for a 5th time. Let him do whatever he wants. We've
To be
up.
fair, I've only got 2, and I think if there were to be a 3rd one, I think I'd take that attitude very much.
Yeah, I mean, you should. And you should. And do you know
Yeah.
anyone who's RC with you, like social services or any of those people, I'll tell you what, they need a good talking to because do you know what? If social services came round to you and your 3rd kid, you go, okay, you take the child for a week, then come see me, right? Because I don't think I was an easy child to. I don't think children are easy to look after. I think I was probably pretty hard, and telly was all sorts of colours and shapes, and I love colours and shapes. Love them, mate. No, my parents did the right thing. Good parents.
Okay, so you grew up watching comedy, loving comedy. I totally get that because I was very similar.
Yeah.
At what point did that go from like I love comedy and I'm entertaining my family members and so on to being like, boom, let's go and do comedy. Let's go and be a comedian.
It still hasn't happened, mate. It still has. That's that sort of like, oh my god, I love comedy, to I'm going to do that, has not happened yet. Every single bit of live performance I've done has been an accident completely. I certainly didn't plan it. Like I moved to London when I was 20, and I used to go to see the Comedy Store Players in Leicester Square twice a week. I mean, seriously, twice a week for a year, like not missing one show. Not missing one. Wow. I just loved it, and I used to go there like on a Sunday and a Wednesday, and I'd get there at 2 p.m. to queue for this show that no one else was really particularly queuing up for. So I don't know why I was getting there so early. There was maybe after a while there was about another 6 people that started queuing as early as me. Not that I spoke to them, but and then I saw something in Time Out magazine that said improvised comedy workshop, and I'm so stupid because I know nothing about the world of creativity at all. So thanks for having me on. I know nothing, and I thought workshop meant they're going to have a lecture on on improvised comedy, I didn't think for a second. They go, okay, everyone, get up and do this. So all of a sudden, I'm doing some improvised comedy, and you know, like the little kid that goes to summer drama school and becomes a fucking impossible little cunt immediately. That's what happened to
Yes.
me. So I became an annoying child actor at the age of 21. So yeah, I became total Italia Conti, and and then I did improvised comedy for, I'd say, 5 years or 6 years or something like that, and I enjoyed it. And then I've never grown to despise something so much. It's really weird. Something that I loved became something I was ashamed of deeply.
Wow.
And to this day, I can barely watch any other improvised comedy. I still think the Comedy Store players are the ones you go to see if you like improvised comedy, and don't go anywhere else, is my advice. Um, uh, uh, all of Harry Potter's books in an hour, all of that, do not ever, oh God, leap in front of traffic before you go and see that. So I became ashamed of it, and I became ashamed of myself, which I'm very used to. But this was, I'm ashamed of myself for me, rather than being an improviser. So I stopped, and a few years later, someone who became my agent got my phone number by accident. Like a friend give my phone number instead of the phone number of a stand-up comedian. So I got this phone call. Yeah, I got this phone call at work one day. Like I used to have a proper job. Yeah, I used to be a real boy, not this puppet you see in front of you, right? And what happened was I got a phone call from someone who I think I had met her a few times, but I didn't know her. But she got my number instead of a stand-up comedian called Michael. So she rang me at work and went, "Hello, is that Michael?" I went, "Yeah." She went, "I got your number off Dave." I went, "Good." And you're a stand-up comedian? I went, "Yeah, I wasn't." I went, "Right, are you free tonight?" "Yeah, I was, and every night." And she went, "Great, can you do a gig?" "Sure." And I got that phone call at 3 p.m. and I was on stage at 5.
My God.
I
And
know.
how long?
Here's the thing. I look back on that and go, fucking hell, I would never do that now. Because I know what it feels like to die on your arse now. And I didn't then.
Did you know it by sort of 6
I
o'clock?
wasn't fearless. I was stupid. I was short-sighted. I didn't.
How did the gig go?
Well,
Is that when you learned how
really
to die
good,
on your
because
ass?
it was a TV warm-up, and I got booked for, like, that night I got booked for like 18 months work of.
Wow.
Yeah. Fucking
My
stupid.
God. That is insane.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. So,
Wow.
and the weird thing was, a few months prior to that phone call and getting that gig, I was on holiday, and when I came back from holiday, there was a note on my desk, and the note said, "Hello, mate. Hope you had a really good time. I've quit my job. Love, Paul." And Paul was the only person at my work that I liked, and I went, "If Paul's gone, I'm out of here." So I literally handed in my notice that day, and I gave myself 3 months' notice. And within 2 months, I suddenly got this paid work gig as a stand-up comedian.
Oh my God. Madness.
So no one has that origin story. No one. No one should.
No.
I shouldn't. It's disgusting. How did you
I
become
think that
rich?
might be.
Bought a lottery ticket.
It does happens with some people.
Yeah.
Someone's got to win.
Yeah,
And
I
it turns
guess
out
so.
you.
I don't know if I've won though. It's not like I quit a lucrative job. It's not like, I had a really good job in the city, and I thought, do you know what? Maybe money's not that important. I think money's quite important. I like it, but I didn't have a lucrative job. So I mean, my story's just fluky. It's not daring.
So when did you start sort of branching out into things like Tandy commercials
Yeah,
and things like that?
around. Actually, before that would have been around the time when I was doing improv. I don't know if you know this, but I'm not making this up. I have no memory of doing that Tandy advert. I hope you're going to put this Tandy advert in
It,
this somewhere.
tell you what, if we just make stop.
How can I connect my hi-fi to my TV?
So what's the right mobile for me?
Got a radio alarm to wake him before me?
Which TV will work in a caravan?
How can I steer clear of traffic jams?
Got a portable
Need
CD
a little
card
help
for Hurricane?
this Christmas?
What's a suitable microsystem for my son?
Come to Tandy. We've got helpful people who'll give you sensible advice.
Got a battery for my car?
Tandy, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Tandy are getting their money's worth out of
Right.
it.
Well, that Tandy advert that we've all enjoyed, I have no memory of making it at all. I've no making it, of doing whatever it is I did in it. I've no memory of it whatsoever. And it was sent to me on Twitter by someone who said, "Is this you?" And I clicked on it. And because it sort of weirdly, vaguely looked like me, I laughed. And I wrote back, "Ha, ha, ha." And then I watched it 2 more times. And then I wrote back to the same person and went, "Is that me?" Because I don't remember it. I don't. And I did a bunch of adverts. I did like adverts for Bulmer's cider, and the first advert I did was for Daz washing powder, which actually makes it sound like, oh god, it must have. It was Omo washing powder, which sounds like, Jesus, when did you make this advert in the 50s? But it was. And then there was one advert that I did for Esso, and I thought, do you know what? This is going to be majorly lucrative because it's Esso, big company, and it's a summer campaign. It's like when you go and buy petrol from Esso, you get all these free gifts, like I don't know, beach balls and cups and sort of summery things. And my part in the advert was, me and this other guy in it were supposed to be like Bill and Ted, and he goes and pays for the petrol and comes back with beach balls and the cups and stuff. And what I've done is I've taken the roof down from the car, but of course it's not convertible, so I'm hacksawing the roof off the car. Hey, dude! So it was that. And here's the thing: it ran for 1 week. It was supposed to run for something like 3 months. It ran for 1 week because some little prick tried to hacksaw the roof off his dad's car. So it was called. Some little prick cost me a fucking fortune. Piece of shit.
So, do you ever get together with a guy who thought he was going to get famous off the Tango ad and reminisce about your
do you know what?
Your missed opportunities?
My Alex Winter? No, we haven't seen each other since that very day. It's a shame.
Okay. One of the things I was looking at when I was trawling through your many accomplishments, and I have to bring it up because I've tried to find it on like the Wayback Machine.
You've tried to find my accomplishment.
Yeah. You had an award for writing the MTV website for the Osbournes.
Yeah. Oh, you
Is that
really
right?
have. Yeah. I didn't win. I didn't win the BAFTA.
Fuck is that?
I was BAFTA nominated. Yeah.
Was that BAFTA?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fucking stupid, isn't it? Yeah. And I wish I had it at hand. As you can see, I'm in a store cupboard, and I know this letter that I'm about to talk about is in this room somewhere. But I worked on the Osbournes TV series website, and I did all the writing for that because you could sort of like make all the characters from the Osbournes do various things. It was like little avatars of them. Little cartoon versions of them, and they had a whole bunch of things that they would say and stuff like that. And one of the lines in it, I used the word "cunt," if you can imagine such a thing. And I know, And MTV were very worried that the Osbournes would be offended. And I have a letter somewhere here from Sharon Osbourne approving of my cunt. So,
Very good.
so I have it here somewhere. I will dig it out, maybe hopefully before this comes out, and then I'll be able to brag.
I mean, in all honesty, you've got a few things on your walls there that if I had that, I think I would have that blown up into
it's pretty good. It's pretty
A1 poster. Yeah.
That probably is my achievement. I think we can wrap up the achievement section with that.
Okay, so I wanted to. You mentioned before dying on your ass, and obviously comedians talk about it before. Many times comedians mention this. So I wonder, how do you go about avoiding that now? What's your process for writing your material?
How do you go about avoiding it?
Yeah.
You can't avoid it. You cannot avoid. You can't. It's. I don't know. It's. You might as well say to a filing clerk, how do you avoid paper cuts? You don't. It's part of the job. You go to work, and some people will fucking hate it. You can't. And the idea of writing something that, well, that'll appeal to people, and it won't be. I can't see how people would be upset by it or not find it funny. I wouldn't even know where to begin with that sort of thing. When I first started stand up, all I wanted was to be liked. I wanted the audience to like me, so that because I did so much comparing, and to me, comparing was about being your mate, your chum. We're gonna bounce. And we're all friends, and my stuff, as a result, suffered from being shit. So, I'm not that person. I don't really want to be friends with the audience. Not really. Well, I don't. I sort of enjoy, not always, but I sort of enjoy dying on my art. It's kind of it. If friends come to see me do a gig, I always sort of say to them beforehand, if I die, don't feel bad, because it's my job. We all have bad days at work, and I'm not going to be upset by it. It's not going to upset me in the slightest. For instance, I did a gig in Lowestoft. I'm sorry I'm wearing a hat, but I haven't washed my hair. And I'm not going on the internet with dirty hair. I'm just not doing it.
That's quite all right.
So I did this gig in Lowestoft. Again, not a brag at all. And if you've been to Lowestoft, it is the bird shit capital of the world. It is phenomenal. And I'm on stage for about 4 minutes in my 20-minute set, and they just about tolerate me. I realize I'm going to get nowhere with these people. So I just drop all my material and have an argument with them. And they loved it. Just insulted them, argued fuck with them. I tried my best to become as unappealing as I possibly could. But the thing is, the audience were quite unappealing. And they liked me being They like me being as bad as them. So I don't think you can avoid it, but you can deal with it. It's a bit like grief. You can't
Just
really
cycle
get
through your
over
7
grief,
stages
but you
really
can
quickly.
Figure out a way of living with it.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what stand-up comedy is. Grief.
Well, this is one of the questions that I have for you. I've never done stand-up. I always, I loved stand-up growing up. I was, as most writers do, because it's so well crafted. Generally, really good stand-up is well crafted, and you can see the craft. But so much of it is about the audience feedback. How do you go about writing your stuff? Do you, for your, obviously your set material, do you sort of write a draft and then take it out and then refine it, or do you kind of workshop bits and pieces all the time?
I do. I mean, absolutely. But I'm telling you now, it's really rare that for any of my Edinburgh shows, which are the things that I genuinely care about the most. My club set, I'll be honest with you, I'm probably never going to be happy with my club set. Because I think I can do so much more in an Edinburgh show than I can do in a club set. So I'm never going to be happy really with my club set. But my Edinburgh shows, here's the thing. I write the stuff, I try it out in preview shows, but I'm not saying I don't drop stuff that doesn't work, but I'm saying it's really rare that I drop stuff that doesn't work. I just go, oh, that doesn't work. Well, I like it. Fuck them. So it's probably a terrible attitude, and it's probably why I'm stuck in a store room, and I'm not speaking from my posh conservatory. I watched Bridget Christie on stage once, and something she said has stuck with me forever. She was doing gags that I thought were really, really brilliant, really funny, and it was getting nothing from the audience. And she just went, you know what? Sometimes you're wrong. And I went, yeah, they are. Well, and you have to also think about it this way. If you've been doing it for a long time, and you say something that you know is funny, and it doesn't get a laugh, well, who in this room do you think fucking knows more about comedy? Huh? You bunch of fucking morons who can't think of a joke so badly that you pay someone to think of jokes for you. That's how unfunny you are. Or me, the guy that you pay. So, if that's not too humble, that's how I just think, I don't know, as long as you're happy with your show. There was a time in an Edinburgh run, it was during, I can't remember what year it was, but I don't suppose that matters. But it was during a show that I knew was probably not as strong as previous shows that I'd done. And it was a show called Free Wi-Fi. But I still really, really liked it. It had a middle section that could be 10 minutes long, which meant my hour-long show would be maybe 45 minutes long. Or it could go on for 40 minutes, which means my hour-long show would be about an hour and 20 minutes long. Right. So, and that section is, to this day, is probably the most fun I've ever had doing anything. Doing this really long-winded story about watching frogs shag while you're alone on holiday. Like, they're having fun and you're alone. And it was, I think, firstly, really funny, but secondly, it was me talking about loneliness. And I thought, God, this is really good stuff. And I remember so vividly doing one of those shows, knowing this was brilliant. And the audience were fucking bored out of their minds. And I remember just thinking, I should do the 10-minute version today. And then going, no, I'm enjoying it. So I did the 40-minute version. Because they deserve the 40-minute version. If they weren't going to join in really early with it, then they're going to get the full fucking thing. Yeah, not one person in that room enjoyed it except for me. So, it's important. It's important. I think it's important in stand-up that you are the person who likes what you do the most.
Yeah, you write for yourself first. I think that's relevant to all creative disciplines, really. Like you're the first member of the audience, right?
Right. And also makes you feel better, when you do, play Lowestoft on a Tuesday night and you're getting on a train at 11 p.m. and, and it's fucking pissing with rain and it's shit and there's people on the train being all noisy. At least you can sit there and go, well, I was funny. It's the rest of the world, mate. It's not me.
It strikes me that
I'm right and everyone's wrong.
It strikes me that's probably the healthiest attitude in the world for a stand-up to have, is to not really care if anyone's laughing, because then,
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very used to it. There's nothing I hate more, I'll be honest with you, than the empty, cold, hollow sound of laughter. So I try to avoid it.
So obviously you've got your stand-up career. You've been doing very, very well recent years. Certainly, The Idiot was incredibly well reviewed, and you had Do the Right Thing and a lot going on. And then obviously the pandemic hit, and I think I can't think of any creative industry that is more absolutely royally fucked by the pandemic than yours. So how was that for you?
Well, here's the thing. I think when nature goes so strongly out of its way to say, I think a load of comedians should take a break, I think you should possibly listen to nature sometime. I think loads of comedians did really well out of lockdown. They were very creative, with videos and TikTok and CFAX, whatever the fuck people are doing these days. But here's the thing. I really rushed into that whole let's not do anything for a while thing, and I sort of enjoyed it. Got really into Bob Dylan, got really into jazz, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm not missing stand up at all. And then lockdown ended, and I have to earn money, so I went back to stand up. But I made a little vow that I would try my best to shed as much of my old club material as I possibly can. And now it's down to about 50-50 in my club comedy set. And, this is not in my nature, but I have to say I've really been enjoying it. So, it's a big shock to me to think that, leaving the house and going to a comedy club is now an enjoyable thing again. And I don't think it has been in 10 years, something like that.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah. But it turns out if you write new material, it gives you a reason to be at the comedy club. And, and you're not saying necessarily the same words anymore. And you're saying them, you're so, you're bored senseless by them. So it has been really exciting. And I mean, exciting might be the wrong word for a lot of the audience, because I definitely think my newer stuff is more in keeping with my Edinburgh shows. It's, sarcastic grumpiness on a fairly high level. I talk a lot about how much I love lockdown, and that immediately angers an audience. Because you're not supposed to love lockdown, but I did love lockdown, so there you go. I loved it. I had a great time. I know how badly it affected some other people, but it's a bit like alcoholics. Well, I love booze. Sorry you don't, but I do. Love it. Absolutely. I think it's smashing. And I think there's some. Some people were really lucky, and the luck I had was, I'm just not going to do anything for a while. In fact, if anything, I reverted to childhood and went, I'll plonk myself in front of the TV.
Colours, shapes.
Like watching Brian Cant. And I think I really liked, a lot of comedy again. So I had a break, and I watched some comedy, and I wrote some comedy, and I liked it. And, it certainly, as far as club comedy is concerned, I've definitely not felt that way in years.
Mm.
And it was exciting. I've got huge gratitude to a great comedy club called Up the Creek, which is in Greenwich. And it's really near me. So I felt like a successful comedian. I was like, look, I can just walk to this club and just walk in and perform like I'm Mr. fucking, I've turned up. but they were terribly good about giving me lots of gigs after lockdown, and it was great to try out new stuff.
What about obviously before lockdown, you were doing a podcast called "Do the Right Thing," which to my mind is one of those kind of pinnacles of podcast humor. Certainly for me, I adored it every single week that it came out.
Thanks,
But
man.
you guys took a break, obviously, for, I don't know, was it for the pandemic or did it just naturally run its
Oh
course?
it was before the pandemic. Unfortunately, none of us saw this coming, but Danielle became successful. So she betrayed us all. She betrayed the very roots of Do the Right Thing by becoming successful. And we definitely cannot do the right thing without Danielle. So she's off making films and being hugely successful. And Margaret is very busy acting, so she's being successful too. Ben's always producing loads of things, so he's successful. And then there's me in my cupboard.
Taking a walk to Greenwich.
I'm still the cult figure of Do the Right Thing. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The reason I think we will do more Do the Right Thing won't be this year, but I think it might come back next year. And perhaps I'm speaking out of turn here, but I think it'll happen because Danielle says it won't. And that's what I've learned about Danielle, is if she go, no, never doing it again, that means that's definitely going to happen again. So she's definitely said it's definitely never going to happen again. Definitely. So see you next year.
I was listening back to the best of series 1 to 6, which I think is an hour of just pure distilled brilliance. But also the guest lists for what the amount of top draw talent that you have on that show is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Must be quite fun to sort of work alongside so many people. But I guess you know them all from the circuit anyway, don't you? I guess they're probably not
mostly
heroes of comedy to you. They're just people.
Yeah, but I mean, mostly. But there's definitely a lot of stand-ups have been on there that I don't really know, and there's been like a lot of like John Finnemore. Like, I don't know him. I've met him once, and our entire conversation was recorded for Do the Right Thing. So, so that was the time I met him. And we have other guests on it, like experts and stuff that obviously we don't know, and they're always interesting, or if not interesting, downright terrifying and scary. There's always an air of it could kick off at Do the Right Thing. Always just a little air of, I bet it'll be a fight. This week there'll be an actual fist fight.
It always went so close to the bone. That's the thing, isn't it? Like sometimes I was just like, oh my God, they went there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, it's with the audience as well. I mean, there's an episode where a guy we answer people's problems sometimes. People in the audience give us problems that we will try to give advice on, and one of the problems came from a guy who was pissed off at that his brother had parked his car outside of his house and just sort of somewhat abandoned it, so he set fire to it. And it was, the guy was just so fucking bizarre and scary. It was really just just knowing that guy was in the room. Well, I don't know. He set fire to the car. I don't really know if we can argue with him or. Yeah.
Where are you parked?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the worst thing was he was generally quite calm about it, and I think that's even worse somehow. If someone can find a spiritually cleansing way of setting fire to a car, I don't want to know that person.
Maybe they know something that we all don't, and maybe we'll all get there one
I
day.
don't think he knows too much that we don't know. Yeah, I don't think. I don't think he was. Yeah, I don't think he was an intellectual, but I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that in the slightest.
You've brought out a book recently called Strawberries to Pigs, which is a collection of some of your best writing kind of online and stuff over the years. So, how did that come about? Was that kind of
It came
a
about because of
pandemic
lockdown.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was lockdown. It was lockdown, and I thought, well, what I didn't want to just do nothing. And I know, I mean, a lot of it is old writing, but it's mostly rewritten, at least tidied up. A lot, some of it is completely rewritten, and then there was this very long-winded sort of road story that happens, at the end of the book. And I just thought, do you know what? It'll probably take you maybe 2 hours to read it. So I just thought, well, there you go. That's 2 Edinburgh shows. So it's and it was a really enjoyable thing to do, and it sort of kickstarted, what I hope will be, much more writing, and I'm hoping the book will serve as a sort of calling card to future publishers. Look at me begging, and here's the weird thing, it's sold well. No one saw that coming. It's no way to see that coming. So it's it's sold 4 print runs of it, and the 5th one is available now. And once that's sold, because out of sheer nerves, that's it. I'm not going to print anymore because it's too nerve-wracking.
Where is that on Go Faster Stripe? Is that where you're?
Yeah,
where
it's
you're
on Go
selling it?
Faster Stripe, and it's listen, I'm delighted with that book. It was a really good experience. Like I say, it's kickstarted some other writing that I'm doing, and I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day, but I really hope it does because it's fucking funny. It's one of the good things about having an uncle who was a bank robber is that you can write his story and and just pass it off as your own. So that's what I'm doing. I've stolen my uncle's life for the writing that I'm doing at the moment, and it's been really exciting because to make a fictional character up out of someone that you actually know is really, really brilliant. Because while I'm struggling with other characters in it, he's really easy because I know that guy. That guy's easy to write for. He's that guy. Yeah.
So this is a novel you're working on then?
Yeah. I mean, that's what pricks say, isn't it? Oh, I'm working on a novel.
That's what we say.
That's what we say.
Yeah, but you work on novels and
we're pricks,
your novels see the light of day, right?
Yeah. Eventually, somewhere.
Mine might not.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Writing is its own reward, but then cash is also good.
Yeah. Writing. You're right. Writing is its own reward, and it's the only good part of writing is finishing something, because writing is awful. It's tedious. It's really it's the idea of sitting down and going, right, I'm going to write a book is fuck. Have you any idea how many words are in a book? There's like loads. Why would anyone do this to themselves? And you can't just come up with a plot. You have to have a fucking subplot. And it has to make sense. It can't just end. It has to make fucking sense. I look at successful authors in a different way now. When you go, look at Stephen King. Look, his latest book sold 1 million copies in a week. Oh my God, and he was given awards, but he is so unhappy because he has to do it again and again and again. And his books get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's how madder and madder and madder he's getting.
I can't remember who it is who said it, but one of my favorite things about writing is the best thing about writing is having written.
Oh,
And I
fuck
think
me,
that
yeah.
sums it up perfect. That sums it
Yeah.
up perfectly. At the end of my writing session at the beginning of every day, I think, thank fuck, that's over.
Yeah. Get it out of my house.
Yeah.
It's over. Out. I mean, it's
Well,
very
listen.
tempting at the end of a really long writing stint to just delete it. Out of sheer spite. Just go, right, you prick. I hated every minute of that. Delete.
I have actually done the thing where I've written an entire novel and then deleted it. I wrote
Have you?
80,000 words. Yep, I wrote 80,000 words, and I looked back on it as a second draft and went, "This is absolute shit," and I deleted it.
Oh,
And
right.
honestly, one of the most satisfying things I've ever done in my life. And then I cried.
Right. Well,
Yeah, good times.
it is tricky. It's very. I mean, I'm not being
So,
sarcastic at all when I say it is very tempting, because it
no,
doesn't
don't
make
do
you.
that with
It doesn't make you
yours.
happy. It
Yeah,
doesn't
don't
make
delete
it. Doesn't.
your rubber story, please.
Yeah. No, I don't mean I want to delete yours. I mean, well, maybe I'll have a read of it and go. Oh, no. But no, I try to write. I don't write constantly, but when I do write, almost all of it doesn't go anywhere because I'm like, I don't know why I even sat down to write that, but I'm still sort of weirdly satisfied by the process of beginning and ending, and even reading it back and going, well, I actually don't want this to go anywhere. I wouldn't even put it online, but it's still. I bet I get something from this somewhere. Like there's going to be some little hook in here that'll end up in stand up, or it'll end up in one of my future novels. Yes, that's right. I'm leaping ahead to my future novels. So who
Got
knows?
to aim big. Got to aim big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, listen.
What made you want to be a writer?
Oh, fuck knows. Honestly, okay, the weirdest answer for this is Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine.
Right.
When they were big, they had a single or a B-side to a single called Granny Farming in the UK, which was about elder abuse, which is a subject not often approached by indie popsters from the mid-90s. And I listened to it, and I don't know why. I sat down and I wrote a short story, and I still don't know why I did that. And so there are several times when I cursed them for writing it, but you can't take it back, can you? Once you've started something like that. And this is the thing, I think, with creativity. Once you find your little sort of vein of kind of whatever it is that you're doing, you just kind of go, oh, this is me now. This is what I do. Great.
I know.
For better
Shit,
or worse. Well, thank you for tuning in to All Creatives Now, everyone.
This is basically, it's not really a podcast, it's a warning. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today, Michael.
Mate, thank you. I hope we've all learned something.
We certainly have. We certainly
definitely are. Some things to unpick here. Yeah, definitely.
But thank you very much, man. And are you going to be on tour anytime soon, or are you just literally
no,
we have
I'm
to come to
going
Greenwich to see you?
Here's what I'm working on. At the moment, I'm working on a stand-up show that totally does away with an audience. So that's I'm literally going the opposite of going on tour. I think there's a slight chance it will work, but it's going to be stand-up comedy. There's something else that I don't want to say what it is, but there's something else replacing the audience. So we'll see where that goes. So that's what I'm working on at the moment, and I'm sure I will do the Edinburgh Fringe next year. I didn't know it was happening this year. Nobody told me until it was too late. So
do you think they were all like, don't tell Michael?
Do you know what? I'm still in lockdown mode. It's like, look, we can't do it. We can't. And anyway, I think it's the alt-right year this year. So, I'm going to stay well out of it. All the
stay
all the
away from all
alt-right
that shit.
comics can have the Fringe for a year, and we'll just stay down here.
Turning up and coming on stage and the thing about transgender people.
Yeah, I mean, good luck to them for doing that in Scotland, where they're famously not liberal. Yeah, yeah, with their fucking free prescriptions. No, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun not being there.
Yeah. It'll be fun reading about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, thank you very much, Michael. And obviously, we'll put links in the show notes to all your stuff and to Strawberries for Pigs and The Idiot and all sorts of stuff like that. So
thanks mate.
again. And see you all next time.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Well, wasn't that fun?
That was an immense amount of fun to record. I hope it was as much fun to listen to. My sides actually legitimately hurt after recording that interview. So
exactly, same.
Yeah, so no, it was really good. So thank you hugely to Michael for giving us his time and the gift of laughter, which he brings so well.
Absolutely.
But thank you very much to Michael. Now, normally at this point, we'd maybe tease a little bit about what's coming next. But I've got a little bit of news for you all at the moment. I'm actually going on a bit of a break in the next couple of months. So that, unfortunately, means that this podcast is going to go on a little bit of a break for a couple of months. So we hope you've enjoyed the first few episodes. We are not done. We have more episodes in the bag, so to speak.
Absolutely. Some very exciting people that we've managed to speak to, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. One absolute rock star of the modern horror genre, and a couple of other people lined up who are really, really exciting. So I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off, and I can't expect Kev to carry the can all by himself. So we will be back. Don't unsubscribe, just leave us there in your podcatcher. And we will be back in September. But so that's about that. But really hope you've enjoyed the first few episodes.
Yeah, and also we will still be around on social media from time to time. So if you want to interact, if you want to engage, if you've enjoyed this episode, the other episodes, if you've got people you think you'd like to hear us speak to going forward, then do catch us, All Creatives Now, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on the Weird Dancey thing as well, which we won't talk about.
Are we on there?
Are we on there?
I don't know if we are.
Okay, so don't go there. That's good.
Yeah,
People can avoid that.
You don't have to. You don't have to open the Weird Dancey thing. I mean, you can, and oh god, this
That's
means someone's going to take that handle now and just put little edits of us laughing or something like that. If you want to do that, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
You have our permission, but then
we get trolled. That's all good. It means we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, as long as you give us back the login credentials once you're bored. Yeah. So what about you, Kev? Have you got anything going on at the moment?
Well, I'm actually going to be taking a bit of a hiatus from creative stuff over the summer, most of the time anyway, because I'm going over to the UK because I miss the rain, and also because I'll be working in a university for the summer, which is something that I do pretty much every year. But then from September onwards, I'm really looking forward to getting a very different type of work-life balance where writing and creativity becomes kind of front and center of everything that I do for at least about 8 or 9 months of the year. So
which is very cool. Very cool. I'm very envious of you on that one.
Raring to go.
Yeah. No, that's going to be great. And I've got a similar hiatus for a couple of months, and I'm going to use that just watching Netflix. So
hanging with the family.
Yeah, exactly. So hiatus is all round. We'll be back after the summer. Back in September. So do drop us a line if you've enjoyed this episode, or if you've got anything that you want to do. And next time Michael's on tour, do go and see him, because he's a very, very funny man.
Absolutely. All right. So, okay. See you later, people.
Yeah. See you back in September.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.